Hello guys. So in last video uh, we tried to create custom users status for project system. So in this video we'll try to create basically asset accounting and project system integration. How does that work? How does the AUC get assigned to WBS elements? How does the settlement cycle works and it settles the project to the WBS element, right? So I think before we go into the system and start configuring, let's just quickly in a minute or two uh, run the business process once in the Excel, right? So first of all, we have created a project, right? We have created a project in our sandbox system, and that project is for office bu- building. Let's just say our company wants to build a building, and to track its expenses, budget, and all the things, system business has decided to do it through a project system, and they created a project, right? C hyphen something 101 is a project that we created, and through which we want to track the budget. We want to monitor the spending that we are doing on this project and all those things, right? So in this, what will happen is eventually all the expenses that you are doing is going uh, is going into building office, and office is going to be your asset at the end of its completion, right? So all the expenses you are doing towards producing this asset is not your expenses. You cannot book it to your P&L, right? Hope I'm making sense. Those who have bit of accounting background knowledge, they could understand. So the expenses that we make is, if we book them as a expenses, it's gonna reduce our profit and the tax implication, right? If less profit, less taxes and all the things. So it's not legal to book those expenses as expenses, but instead we have to transfer those expenses into a AUC, which is asset under construction, which will hold that balance till the time our asset is functioning or completed, right? So till the time the project goes to the completion, whatever expenses we are booking using WBS element number, let's say we are creating n number of multiple POs to buy raw materials, buy goods, buy finished materials, or anything, like for example to buy furniture, or to rent, or to just raise a purchase order to a contractor to give a contract to build the building and all those things. So while booking that PO, we will insert a WBS number inside those POs, or if you are like directly posting expense accounting entries, we will insert a WBS number inside that, those lines, right? Those accounting lines. So this WBS element will hold all that expense balance into it, and at the end of the period, which is at the end of the month, since during the month end you might draw a financial report and submit it to a government or legal entities. So before you do that, you need to transfer, or you need to transfer this balance from WBS element, because WBS element is a cost object which basically holds the cost, right? So right now this is seated in our expenses. We have to move this balance out of this cost object into our AUC, which will be basically our balance sheet GL. So this will happen through a settlement run program, which we will execute, or will be scheduled during the period end to be executed, which will move all of the balance from WBS to AUC. And then when the asset is completed, we will move the all the balance from AUC to the fixed asset and close out the project. So this is the entire business cycle. From this business cycle, so far in earlier videos we saw how do we configure the system to, so that we can create a project, how can we budget a project, how can we use a WBS element to book the expenses, and then we also gone into a tiny details of creating the custom user statuses for different purposes and all those things. Now coming to the next part, where we would like to settle this expenses into a AUC. So for that we need asset accounting integration to with the project system. We will need AUCs created for each of the WBS element, settlement rule updated for each of those WBS element, so that when we execute the settlement run, this WBS balance just moves to the assigned AUC in the settlement rule, right? So how does that happen? What are the configuration goes behind it making happen, right? So there are like investment measure related configurations that we do, which ensures that each of the WS elements gets a AUC created by default and assigned to each of the WS element, and the settlement rule gets created automatically for each of those. Since this is very generic activity, this all happens automatically once we do a certain set of configuration. And for and just like maybe we'll go into the system and look into what are those configuration and all those things, right? So right now we have one project, but maybe we'll create another projects because we didn't had the asset accounting integration with the project system in the earlier projects that we created. So first thing is, first thing first now that we need to make sure, or let's just we need to make sure asset accounting is it's completely configured in our company code, so that this integration works smoothly. But even before that, we can just complete the project system configuration, I believe. So we'll try to do that. So there is a there is a thing called investment profile that we need to define. In the investment profile, we decide uh, about the the WBS element should be settled and all those things. So we'll go inside that, and I think it's better we just search for the T code of investment profile T code in SAP. So it's OITA. I'll just go through the T code. Yeah. So you can see there are already like model A, summary settlement and all these things predefined provided by SAP. And yeah, you can see basically this is the your investment profile, and here we are going to say manage it through AUC. So and then we have to give the investment measure asset class. So which asset class? So as we said earlier, that in the Excel that system is going to create the AUCs automatically and assign them to a respective WS element. So system needs to know under which asset class it has to create that AUC, right? And that we will assign over here. So basically whatever we will assign here, system will pick that up and create AUC under that, right? Then we have summary settlement or line item settlement, list of origins. How do we want it to be settled? If we select the radio button summary settlement, that basically means the total entire balance on that WBS element will move out of it and go to the AUC, right? No matter like how many times we have booked or how many number of expenses are sitting in in that WBS. So this is how it is configured in most of the projects, in most of the organizations, because uh, this is something that's legally required, right? All the expense move it out to AUC, to a balance sheet GL, to AUC account, irrespective of like any expenses that you book in. So no need to go line by line or do a line by line settlement, right? It doesn't make any sense. Then this depreciation simulation and all, since this is managed AUC, it just doesn't matter. But yeah, then there are like other distribution rules that we have, like do we want percentage rates or amount wise settlement? How do we want? If we select so this will affect in when you create a settlement rule, right? When you create a settlement rule, there you have option to enter like do you want to do 100% settlement of this WBS to AUC, or if you select the amount radio button, it's going to settle it using the amounts instead of percentage. But percentage are more uh, viable option, because we don't want to keep on updating amount in this WBS element every month based on how much expenses were posted on them, right? Instead of that, we can just simply say 100%, and it will every month it will take 100% amount and settle it. But instead, let's say for the first month 1000 rupees was expenses, we entered 1000 rupees amount. If we select the amount radio button, and then next month again the amount will be, let's say 500, then again come back, change the amount, and then system will pick and settle that much amount into AUC. So it's a additional activity. It's good to have it percentage wise. So right now I'm not sure the asset class. We can use the standard asset class. Asset classes anywhere on client level, so we can just maybe leverage this 4001 as it is, and this same investment profile as it is. So the next thing is like we have to now assign this investment profile to our project profile. Then only there will be a connection between whatever we have configured over here, right? So this is the investment profile that we will pick, and the T code to project profile is, one second, OPSA. So we'll go into OPSA. This was the project profile that we have created, and we'll go into a controlling tab, and here we have a option called investment profile. So now since we are updating an investment profile in our uh, project profile, system is going to know that this is this project, or all the project that we are going to create under this project profile will be managed with investment profile or as a investment projects, right? So this will sorry so this will make sure that it's the projects go through a proper cycle of AUC and all those things. One more thing is that whatever asset class we are updating over here has to be a investment uh, major asset class, right? So we'll just quickly go into that. I believe it's OA, or I'm not sure. Yeah, it's that, right? I think 4001, right? Investment merger. So this is the asset class. Okay, we'll not save this. So this is the asset class that we used, and when we use this asset class to assign into our investment profile, we need to make sure that investment major radio button is selected, status of AUC, right? It should not be line item settlement or no AUC or summary management. So for normal assets, we will have no AUC or summary management of AUC. Radio button selected. If I just, let's open some another asset. Yeah, any fixed asset, any normal fixed asset will carry this radio button. Any AUCs not related to investment measure will carry the line item settlement radio button, which will be settled through our traditional uh, T codes like AIBU and all those things. And any asset class which are related to investment measure, or we are the ones which we are going to assign to investment profile and then to a project profile, should have the investment measure radio button selected. Um, Very critical configuration and very critical information to know uh, in order to configure this entire thing, right? So yeah, but no. So yeah, this is what it is, and I think we have assigned this to our project profile. We'll just save it now. Yeah, it's saved. So now we'll try to create a new project. Okay, I think again we will copy. The problem with the copying is that it just copies the entire values from the reference projects, right? So 3 number is not created, so we'll just input 3, and we'll copy it from the number 2 project. So if we copy with the reference, I think it will not update the investment profile, but let's just find it out, right? So this is what it is, and I think investment profile is updated on the line item level. And yeah, you can see investment profile did not update, so it was 001 is the one that we used. So we'll just update it quickly. We'll go over here, and now you can see it started taking the user status, right? I'll go to the assignments, maybe in date, controls, investment profile, right? And update here. So all these fields will usually be hidden. I think we have discussed this earlier also. How can we manage the status, field status regarding project systems, because these all are not needed to be displayed in all the WBS level and all the project system level. So mostly if you are directly checking it out in your client system, you might not see all of these fields available over there. S- yeah, so now we have updated the investment profile. We will save this project once, and then, so right now we want to release the project, but uh, as we know, it will not be released because it's in the ZZ1 status, right? And we really can't even do set and pass status, right? So yeah, so what I will do, I'll just select this, ready for release. Did not have that status, so let's not worry about it. And then we'll save it once, open it again. Now we will release the project. So at the time of release, system should generally create the AUCs, right? But expect for it to have an error. Yeah. So for processing asset under construction, error when processing. So now we need to make sure that our company code is having the asset accounting configured entirely end to end, right? Since we just picked up the existing company code which was created in the system, this is not the one that we have configured from scratch. We just have to go and check. So T093C is the table where you can check if the asset accounting config is there or not, right? And it's not there. So in our company code there is the asset accounting config is completely missing. And what I will do, I will quickly go and pick up a existing chart of depreciation area, assign it to our company code, maintain the numbering, and come back and release the project. So, and what we are going to do now, create a new project. New project for investment measure testing. Right, 2020, this project profile is right. If I can go to the control, yeah, all the details have been captured over here. So let's just create maybe not many but couple of WBS element. So see, it has already taken -1, but we'll change it to C. We will say furniture. Then we'll again create WBS element under it. C1 is fine. We will say office furniture. Yeah. Again create one more under it to say equipment. Right, and then let's just save it. Object class is mandatory, which is investment. So object class, I think we have entered it in project profile, or we didn't. INVST, right? I think we didn't. We have to make sure that we update it. Yeah. So the project profile is created, and now what we will do, we'll have to first change this status again, and then we will release the project. And at the time of project release, we should have the AUCs created for this project. The only issues that will come up with this is maybe the number range, right? So we have what we did is like we selected a company code which had asset accounting activated or configured, fully configured in which, and uh, we just assigned that company code to our project profile and updated the project builder config in that company code and controlling area. And now we are good to uh, test out our configuration related to investment profile, right? So ZRL CRTD, yeah, let's just save this once, come back and try to release the project, right? The only error that we should see or what I can anticipate is related to the number range, but there was no error. Let's just see, and you can see the status in the system status we are getting the message as AUC. That basically means the AUCs has been created for this. Let's go to edit, let's go to cost, yeah, cost and settlement rule. Yeah, not in settlement rule, we will not see it over here. Let's again go to edit, not status, not cost, go into WBS element, go into investment programs and go into asset under construction. And you can see for this WBS element, this asset is created in this company code with the asset class 4001 which we had assigned, and it has updated the description of the WBS element to the description, same description to the AUC. No cost center, nothing is updated. Usually if we provide the cost center in the WBS element, same will flow to the AUC also, but since this is just AUC, no need for cost center update as well, right? Because AUC cost center in asset is used for capturing depreciation, and on AUC there is no depreciation. So these are created. I'll just save this and again open it up. So you can see there is a separate AUC created by the way for each of these WBS element. 4001 was created for previous one. Now if you open the another WBS element, the other AUC will be, yeah, you can see 4002 which is created for this WBS element, and the description of this AUC is equipment. So now going back to the drawing board, as we discussed, like each WBS element will have its own AUCs, and then when we post the balances to the WBS element and try to settle it to the AUC, when we'll execute the settlement run, the settlement rule will be auto updated based on whatever the AUCs are assigned to this WBS element, and it will settle its entire balance uh, to the final asset, right? So we no need to update the settlement rule manually right now. If we go and check the settlement rule, we don't see any rule available, but as soon as we run the settlement program, system goes and updates the settlement rule by default, like automatically, with the same AUC which is already assigned to this. And you will see 100% settlement. You will get the from and to period for which the latest run was carried out and all those details, right? So now once this is performed, WBOST AUC, you have to do one more run, which is your actual which is your full settlement run. And at the time of full settlement run, the balance will move from AUC to fixed asset. Now this step, uh, we have to do a couple of steps manually over here. For example, we have to create a fixed asset manually for in which we want to settle the balance of this project, and then we have to come into a settlement rule and manually update the rule, settlement rule for the final asset, right? So if we go here, we have to manually update the settlement rule as in category as an FXA, which is asset, update the settlement receiver, which will be your final asset number, update the percentage as 100, and you have to save the settlement rule, and then the settlement is executed through CJ88. CJ88 is the T code where you can give the project number or WBS number also. If you want to do settle only specific to one WBS element, if you just give the project number, all the WBS element under this project will get settled. The next thing is you need to enter the period for which you want to settle the balance, and then there are different options of the processing type. If you select the automatic uh, run, it will just move the balance from cost object to AUC. For automatic processing type, it will just move the balance from WBS to AUC. And when you have to move the balance from AUC to final asset, you have to select the full settlement from the drop down. Once you select the full settlement, system is going to pick up the balance from AUC and move it to a final asset. So this is the entire process uh, that goes in, and this is how we have to do it, right? If you want to reverse any settlement run at any time, you have the option called reverse. Just enter the period detail and all, and just click on reverse, and it will reverse the settlements, right? So yeah, this is the basically process of the investment measure or how asset accounting is integrated with the project system and all. I think this was like very critical uh, thing in project system that we saw today. It also marks the complete end-to-end cycle of project system. There are still a lot of teeny tiny details that uh, we have to explore in project system. For example, how does the template work? How do we configure the templates for creation of project? So for in real time system or in real time world, we will look at the scenarios where there will be a, for example, here we said office building project. So like this business will have 10 to 12 projects, uh, project types available in their businesses, right? So for example, they might have a project for marketing spend, they might want to have a different project for store opening, or for store maintenance, or for office maintenance, annual office expense monitoring, tracking, and all. So for each of these types, they would like to have a different set of template created in the system. So each time if they want to create a project for a marketing spend, they can just pick up that template, and it will just copy the entire project hierarchy from that template into the project that they want to create for that year, or for whatever purpose, right? So how does that template works? How do we create the templates? How do we create a project using a template reference and all those things, which we'll look into our upcoming videos. Apart from that, we have substitution validation rules placed in, which plays a vital role in lot of things, in updating the master data. Basically, while creating a project, a lot of things right now we were seeing we were updating manually. So to manipulate many things in the project system master data, a lot of substitutions and validations are used. It's a heavy substitution validation rule based master data project when it comes to project definition and WBS element. So we have to know that, we have to explore that, which we'll cover in upcoming videos. Apart from this, we will also make a dedicated video on the real-time challenges or problems that users or consultant face in project system, detailing out the frequent issues, and there is how do we resolve them, how do we approach them, and all those things, right? So in the meantime, if you want to check out on our other products, you can visit erpcollege.co, and you could go through the blogs, ebooks. We have several ebooks on several topics. Some of them are free, some of them are priced. We have SAP FICO course as well, which will give you a comprehensive guide on. You can buy it module specific if you want. You can buy the entire course itself. It's very underpriced. You can go through these all of these things, and yeah, just keep learning until we meet next time.